Shalom Akim. Call Loyum La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadash. Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai. Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings, salutations, peace to the elect out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. And Romans 8:28, man, we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are the called according to His purpose. All right, for whom He did foreknow, He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brethren. And basically, all things work towards the good, for the good of the elect. Which going back to the line that they send forth across the earth, basically their network for communication, because you actually have undersea cables, that transmit, data from, because, the United States, we have our own closed system, and then, we transmit information to this continent, to that continent, so if you get on Twitter and you tweeting and stuff, somebody across the world can see that because you're connected, to them through that cable, through that line. Same on YouTube, and then certain information from certain places they can block, right? Like they blocked, the United States chose to block RT Today, and that was a couple of years ago, because they said, it was a state-sponsored media. All right, basically they were saying the Russian government was behind them, which RT Today was a legitimate news source. They actually did real journalism. They actually allow people to come on with different perspectives, all right, versus the United States media, all right, which Fox, they just kind of broke that up, and that's a shit show. That's like the all the other different news media shows are all conservative media. All right, but the important part, which, fuck all of them. The important part of them is, the important part of all of this, man, is that the word goes forth, man. Like the scriptures say, if they speak not according to this word, there is no light in them. All right, the Lord blessed us so that we could go on here and we could bring out the scriptures, we could bring out the understanding, we could bring this light out. And so, like I said, be illuminated, Jacob. People worldwide can receive understanding. They can receive these breakdowns. All right, and best believe I can know our people watching. Even if, the views, ain't that high or whatever initially. I remember certain videos of the apostles for years, and I used to watch them. I go back to them, and I go back, and then I remember you go back again, and boom, damn, it's okay. It's 1,000. Okay, it's 2,000. Hey, that's how it goes, man. Right? And don't worry about the views, because a lot of times certain things can even be passed through word of mouth. Right, as long as we do our job to push forth this vibration. And I just wanted to jump into some history on the line, right? Because this line is actually started off as a cable for them to transmit, information from the United States to Europe, on news, warfare, and then of course business. They wanted to know the certain prices on commodity. All right, like they say one of those ships come here and they got, okay, we got spices from India. Okay, this is a price. Then, another ship comes. Okay, we got spices from India. This is the price. Like, hold up, wait a minute. They just, last time y'all said this is the price. But now everything can be regulated because they have a central line of communication. Right, and then that's how, they were able to keep their empire afloat. And now, we're using their line to send this gospel out, and they're allowing us. And it's all prophecy. You know, that's why you have to get this word while it's hot. You know, write these things down, understand these things, meditate upon these things. All right, but I wanted to just let this video play. Just had a little bit of information on the line.
You know that frustrating feeling when a message takes more than a few seconds to send? Well, it's hard to imagine today, but before the mid-19th century, sending news across the ocean could take weeks to arrive. Then, thanks to an incredible yet mostly forgotten technological achievement, that gap was shrunk from weeks to seconds, a feat that kicked off the global age of instant communication that we take for granted today. For most of human history,
yeah, like you just saw that. Basically, if they wanted to send a ship with certain information, it would take a month for them to, it's about 1,400 miles, and that's a Atlantic Passage. It would take about a month for it to get here and back. Quick example, right? Old world technology, all right? 2 Kings 9, and this is how you know the Lord blessed them, with that technology. This is how they were able to make the whole world wonder and marvel at them, because they had, they were able to do things instantly. They were able to have, certain technological advancements which were given to them by the Heavenly Father, and now we're using it, and like the scriptures say, all things work for the good of the elect, right? 2 Kings 9:17, and there stood a watchman on a tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take a horseman and send to meet them, and let him say, is it peace? So in the ancient world, you actually had a watchman, which that's us, we're the watchmen. But he actually stood on that tower, and he would actually have to watch, and be not faint. You caught sleeping, that's a huge punishment, right? Because it could be people coming, and you got to spot them on the horizon. And that's just like us, man. We can't be faint. All right, till that times comes where they force us off, which, like before, I remember a couple years back, they forced us off of YouTube. They forced us on the Forced Brothers on Daily Motion. Some companies basically they started blocking IP addresses, and then eventually the coast was clear, right? And I remember, that made me understand, like, man, this word is really precious. At any time they could try to, take this word out, but if the word is with you, and you have the understanding, you write down things, and like I said, the Spirit is dealing with you, then that's not going to matter anyway, right? And that's what that's what the men of the Lord are going to be in the times to come. We're going to be a walking, moving temple, no matter where we are. Right? It says, so there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, thus saith the king, is it peace? And Jehu said, what hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, the messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. Then he sent out a second on horseback, which came to them, and said, thus saith the king, is it peace? And Jehu answered, what hast thou do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, he came even unto them, and cometh not again. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furious. And Joram said, make ready. And his chariot was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, even each in his chariot. And they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. Right, so they actually had to go meet him. Right, but in this day and age, everything can be solved through a message. All right, like you see that they'll have that phone in the White House, or the Pentagon, or whatever, or they'll have whatever networks established for them to for other countries to send a message or reach out. But everything can be done digitally now. I'm gonna let this play.
The way to send a message across a long distance was to have it delivered in person, which was limited by how fast someone could travel. The invention of the electric telegraph in the 1830s sparked a revolution. It allowed messages to be sent across wires as electrical pulses, which could be translated into letters and words. Within a decade of its invention, thousands of miles of telegraph cables were installed between, linking government.
You see that? Yep. And that's worldwide telegraph. City to city, state to state, you could get a message out. But they didn't have a link between the United States and the old world.
Businesses, individuals, and the press. But there was still an enormous, daunting gap. Miles across the vast Atlantic Ocean, linking Europe and the Americas. In 1854, an ambitious, wealthy young American entrepreneur named Cyrus West Field was presented with a business opportunity to connect a telegraph cable from New York City to Newfoundland, which would shorten the arrival of news by ship from abroad by a day or two. Field pushed the idea even further. What if a line could be extended all the way to Ireland and then on to London, which at the time was the hub of the global economy? Sensing that his project could change the course of history, Field was undaunted by the immense challenge. He raised money from a wide network of investors, including the British and American governments, which also provided the necessary ships for laying the cable in exchange for top priority communication rights on the future telegraph line.
And the scriptures say, knowledge puffeth up, which the knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. But you see, of course, these Edomites are proud, because they're the border of the wickedness first and foremost. But you see why they have so much pride, man, because they were just given, they've been given the earth, and they're wicked. But they've been given the earth, they've been given a certain level of understanding, right? They've been given that dragon status, man. The dragon is crafty, right? That serpent from the garden became a dragon.
Field also recruited some of the top engineers and scientists of his time to develop a cable durable enough to carry a signal thousands of miles across the ocean floor.
Look at that. They actually dragged the cable across the ocean floor, for 1,400 miles.
Laying out the actual cable by steamer ship in the rough waters of the
So
North
it's an actual line underwater.
Atlantic was no easy feat either. And in fact, the first two attempts failed when the cable snapped and sunk on the journey, dashing hopes and causing widespread public mockery of the project. Some of the criticisms were philosophical and eerily relevant today.
As I say, how will its uses add to happiness of mankind? And this is all prophecy, though, because the scriptures say what? In the end, knowledge and wisdom shall increase. All information is basically at your fingertips. Is you could Google search, boom, boom, boom. That's and this technology, man, is for us to use, man, to quicken our understanding and to bring out the scriptures in full. All things are double.
Instant access to information really make us any happier or better off? Nevertheless, in August 1858, after over a year of disappointments, the two massive cable-laying ships successfully reached their destinations in Newfoundland and Ireland, completing the connection that Field and others had prophesied. Once the line had been...
Yeah, this is why there was no question when they came out and said, hey, we're white, we're white. No, it was never questioned, regardless of all the evil and all the wickedness they had done. Because of this stuff, it was, oh man, so many people were making money and, like I said, an increase in trade, and, now they can regulate prices, and, it was they were able to deceive the nations. They were able to deceive the world.
An official message of goodwill was exchanged between Queen Victoria and U.S. President James Buchanan. Public celebrations erupted in cities throughout the U.S. and Europe, marking the dawn of a new era of unification between the old world and the new. It's hard to overstate how influential the so-called Electric Union was to the rapidly globalizing world of the 19th century. It meant that everything from stock and commodity prices to a declaration of war or peace could now be shared immediately. It's no surprise that Field's accomplishment was widely heralded as
Look at that. Look at the man flying on the eagle with the lightning, you know. Basically he's a sorcerer. Right? The serpent became a dragon. Right? A nation as swift as an eagle. Come on, man. You can't make this up, man. You cannot make this stuff up.
the time as the greatest human achievement in history, and Field himself became an international hero. Although the first cable only functioned for a few months before going dead, it proved that a link was indeed possible. Within a decade, more reliable and sophisticated undersea cables were laid by Field and many others. Throughout the 20th century, cable networks expanded and technology continued to evolve as telephones eventually replaced telegraphs, and then digital data eventually replaced analog signals. While the original transatlantic cable could only transmit a few words per minute at best, today's fiber optic cables deliver hundreds of terabytes of data in just seconds.
Man, terabytes.
And there are a lot of them, stretching close to 750,000 miles in total. And more cable was laid in 2018 than in any year in almost 2 decades. Instead of brave entrepreneurs, now most new cables are being laid by the tech giants such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, which collectively own or lease more than half of the undersea bandwidth.
And see, that's the big money right there. They own the bandwidth. They own, certain rights. You want to use our cable. Our cable can transmit this many terabytes of data a second. So we'll give you and your company access to this many gigabytes of data of seconds in order to use our cable to transmit information. And then people worldwide can see your business. They can see your network. They can see whatever you're trying to transmit, and then that's how, that's basically the network that we look at when we jump on these phones. All right, one that's been sold off to big tech giants and all these different apps, which people, have invested their life and their energy. And that's why when it's time for that Revelation 13 to come out, people are going to jump right on board because everybody's in league at the top. Right? Everybody, they want to continue to push people to use their data, people to use their services. So, hey, let's merge everything into one. And we'll go ahead and have people take this. And it's going to serve, all roads lead to Rome. It's going to serve many functions. Right, including all your data. They're gonna have all your information. Your payments is gonna be on there. You want to buy and sell, right? Well, you're gonna have to be part of our network. All right, you can't. Hey, the average person, me or you, we can't sell. Look, let's come on, bro. Let's jump on a boat. We're gonna lay this cable. Look, you got all kind of international laws and this law and that law. They would never allow us to do that, right? But through, the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushai, we can jump on here and we can transmit, like I said, the light. We got the real light, and the Lord is going to lead them to you. He's going to lead them to your lesson. He's going to lead them to this message for the elect, and they're going to be pulled in, right? Like a fish in a net. Right, net, short for network. Right, but actual net, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you get what I'm saying. Network is short, like you have the internet. But then, you have to have to catch fish, you actually have to have a net. All right, just so I'm understanding, I'm using two different words.
And although it seems that we live in a mostly wireless world, undersea cables still carry 99% of data traffic that crosses the oceans. So the next time you chat with someone on the other side of the world, keep in mind that it all started over 150 years ago by a visionary entrepreneur.
They got the two flags tied like a damn a Los Angeles gang. Right? That's why the scriptures talk about, though. That was, I'm joking. Ezekiel 28:5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. And see, that these Edomites are proud. Their hearts are lifted up. They're living in mansions. All right, we with Jacob Rothschild, dying off. Scripture talk about that. They even when they die, they leave in bands. They're not in trouble as other men. All right, their heart is lifted up because of their riches. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. Now, this is talking about as you jump up, it says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyre, all right, Tyre being a city in Lebanon, all right, which we know, Solomon was working with, the Zidonians, right, these Canaanites. They got pushed all the way up there, and then they jumped on the sea, and then they came over here and had, wood, and they were employed by him, hewers of stone and wood. You know what I'm saying? It said, thus said the Most High, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man. And really this applies to Esau. Right? It says, and not the Most High, though thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasure. All right, and they're lifted up, man. They have all these resources. They have all these different things, networks, all right, satellites, and they can go in the lower Earth orbit. These people they're lifted up, not understanding this is all for the Heavenly Father's script. Right, this is all for his power to be shown. Right, where his forces from heaven are going to come down, and it's going to be on. All right. They shall bring thee down to, verse 8, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Oof. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am the Most High? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken and said the Most High. And that's exactly what's about to happen, man. These other nations say they shall hate the whore and they will burn her. Right? They're going to turn on her. These other nations are going to turn very soon. All right. I just had a couple of precepts too, and I'm going to close out. All right, Psalms 141:10, let the wicked fall into their own nets, while it's that I withal escape. All right, that's what's going to happen, man. Everything that because they set that up, for them, like I said, for them to have global power. All right, they set that up, and Jake had no idea what was going on in the background. All right, we was on a damn, Jake was getting their back whipped, or you was running from the dogs, or wherever you was at. All right, but now Esau is falling, because like I said, their tongues turn on themselves. You got Edomites on all these different outlets, giving up the goods, telling all this information, giving the inside scoop. And you can log right in. Oh, no, that's what's going on. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was basically the point, man. In Psalm 19:4, the line is going out through all the earth. and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. Right? 8, verse 2. Day unto day utter speech, and night unto night show of knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Right? So now the whole world is connected. The whole world is going to see. The whole world is going to know. Right? Because like I said, man, the elect, they're gonna gain fame. Right? It even talks about some of the heathens are gonna favor us. Right? We're gonna receive favor from the heathens. Right? Hey, the Lord is about to work a work, man, which we won't believe. Like some shit that's like, oh man, this is unbelievable. Call Loyum Layah Bashim Shot, the water for the inspiration. All right. And all things are for the good of the elect. Shalom.